So, look, Sean, to take a step back, we are watching the recent developments in the ROK with grave concern. We are seeking to engage with our Republic of Korea counterparts at every level, both here in the United States and in Seoul. The Secretary has been briefed, and we're keeping him appraised of the developments as well as monitoring closely what's happening on the ground. Let me also just mention that our alliance with the Republic of Korea is ironclad, and we're fully committed to that. And ultimately, here, our hope is, and every hope and expectation is, that any political disputes will be resolved peacefully and in accordance with the rule of law.
Okay. I mean, just the grave concern and the rule of law. Is it the perspective of the United States that President Yoon has been following that?
So, look, this is an incredibly fluid situation. I'm not going to jump to any immediate conclusions at this point. What I can say is that we are watching these developments with grave concern. We're staying in close, appropriate touch with our ROK counterparts, and I'm sure we'll have more to say as the situation continues to unfold. I just don't want to get ahead of that.
Well, I mean, so the rule of law. I mean, the National Assembly has voted now.
Certainly.
To undo this,
right.
to rescind martial law. So from the perspective of the United States, should that stand? Should the martial law be rescinded?
So, look, every country, of course, has its own rules and laws and procedures. I'm certainly no expert in South Korean law, and certainly how the South Korean legislature works and what the ins and outs are of that. But certainly, it is our hope and expectation that the laws and regulations of a particular country are abided by that particular country.
Does that include the National Assembly vote?
That would be the case as well. But again, I'm just not going to get ahead of the process here.
Just to put a fun point.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's the National Assembly vote. So basically, you think that the National Assembly voted martial law should be finished. The United States respects that decision by the National Assembly.
Sean, I'm not gonna. There is obviously a lot happening in South Korea over the course of the day. Ultimately, for us, as I said, we want to see these political disputes resolved peacefully and in accordance with the rule of law. And of course, such a vote in the legislature would be consistent with that approach. But we're continuing to remain in close touch with our ROK counterparts, and I'm sure we'll read out any conversations that may or may not take place over the coming days.
Just a couple more things. I mean, has there been any conversations directly with President Yoon, not necessarily from the Secretary, but with President Yoon?
I have no conversations to read out with President Yoon. We are continuing to seek to engage our ROK counterparts, but I don't have any calls to read out.
And maybe taking a step back, I mean, President Yoon was invited to a state dinner last year. In March, he hosted the Democracy Summit, which of course is a signature issue for the outgoing president, for President Biden.
Yeah.
Were there concerns voiced in the past, or does this take the U.S. completely by surprise, or were there concerns voiced in the past about?
Sean, I'm certainly gonna keep private diplomatic conversations as that. I'll keep them private. I think what I can say is that we were not notified of President Yoon's announcement in advance. But beyond that, I think the important thing to remember, Sean, is that ultimately at the crux of this is not, President Biden, President Yoon, these two specific governments. What this is about is the broader strategic relationship and the broader strategic partnership that we have with the Republic of Korea. And that alliance, as I said, is ironclad. There continues to be, in our point of view, a lot of important work that we want to continue to do with the Republic of Korea. This incident, of course, as I said, we are continuing to watch with grave concern, and we will continue to follow developments on the ground very closely. But our commitment to the Republic of Korea and our alliance continues to be strong and ironclad. And as I said, they continue to be a vital partner in the Indo-Pacific, and I'm just not going to get ahead of this.
Just one final one.
Yeah.
To defer, but to put a point on that, I mean, the National Assembly vote. I mean, do you want President Yoon to respect that? Do you want the military to respect that?
As you heard me say, Sean, that we want this to be resolved peacefully in accordance with the rule of law, and certainly the legislature voting to pass something would be consistent with the law of that country. Certainly. Daphne, go ahead.